What got you into fitness?
What got me into fitness? So it's actually a pretty funny story. I was a junior in high school still. And so my brother at the time was a freshman at WSU2. And when he left, we were the same size basically. We were both like 140. We weren't big guys. We were pretty small. And he came back. I think it was like winter break or Thanksgiving break. And homie comes back and he's like 30 pounds heavier than he was. Just stacked, I was like, yo
instead
what's
of
going on?
freshman 15, it was freshman 30.
Literally, it was a freshman 30. And I was like, bro, like what's going on?
Hey everyone, welcome to the Untapped Potential Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Navan.
And I'm Max Prado.
And today's episode, we have a very special guest. His name is Eric Martinez. Eric Martinez is a fitness enthusiast, model for Dripped, and also an author. He just published an ebook, Train Smarter. Eric, welcome to the show.
Yes, thanks, man. Good to be here. Glad to be here.
Hell yeah, man, dude. I'm super excited. Obviously, for those of you that don't know, we all went to WSU, so we run in a mutual friend circle, and so Eric has been a really good friend of ours for multiple years, and yeah, man, glad to bring you on the show and share your story, man. I'm super excited for you.
Yeah, let's get it.
Excited to pick your brain about fitness too.
Yeah,
I know a lot of people want to learn. We're coming into summer, so it's like that time when everybody's scrambling. Like, I gotta hit the gym. I gotta make sure I'm counting my calories now. So you're coming in at the perfect time, man.
Yeah, man. Got to be getting there for summer, man. Got to get that summer bod going.
Yes, sir. And you just dropped an ebook. I know we mentioned it, man. 159 pages.
Yeah, I was going to say, man, that is that was like a goddamn dictionary,
it's
bro.
Yeah.
No, but you put a lot of good content in there, and I definitely want to spend some time. We'll walk through it later on in the podcast, but I just want to level set with folks who are new to this show or who don't know Eric. Just tell us a little bit about yourself, and just tell us, a little bit about yourself.
All right, so, typical small town kid story. So I was born in Brewster, Washington, lived in Bridgeport, Brewster, Omak, Washington, moved around a lot for high school. Mom and dad there for most of the time. My dad actually he actually graduated from WSU, so coming into college, coming into all this, I know a lot of the story was always like, oh, first generation this, first generation that, which obviously that's awesome for all of them. But when I was coming in, it was just more like, my dad, he already did this, and he basically, like, as soon as I got there, as soon as I was going to WSU, it was like, boom, 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 this is what you got to do. And it was kind of laid out for me. So really, it was just, as soon as I got to WSU, it was hitting the ground, and it was just running ever since then. But, other than that, graduated with my bachelor's in marketing, December 2020, started working. I was actually working full time and finishing my degree for 2 months. So I was doing that. And as soon as I finished that, there was like a 2-week period where I was just working, and I was just sitting there after work, and I was just like, well, what am I supposed to do with my free time after the gym and this? And that's kind of where the book came out. I was like, what am I going to do? What kind of other stuff can I be doing in my free time? And then out of nowhere, I decided to write a book, decided to get all my stuff together. And I don't know, it might have had something to do with getting a little tired of answering multiple like questions of DMs and stuff I was getting on Instagram, social media, just always the same stuff. So I was like, I'm just gonna make something, compile everything together, and just throw it at everyone.
Yeah, and you put in a lot of work, like Max said, man. And obviously, fitness is a passion for you. It's something that you've done for multiple years. And let's just start with that, man. Like, how was your first experience, like, training? Like, what got you into fitness?
What got me into fitness? So it's actually a pretty funny story. I was a junior in high school still, and so my brother at the time was a freshman at WSU2, and when he left, we were the same size basically. We were both like 140. We weren't big guys. We were pretty small. And he came back. I think it was like winter break or Thanksgiving break, and homie comes back and he's like 30 pounds heavier than he was. Just stacked, I was like, yo, like,
instead
what's
of
going on?
freshman 15, it was freshman 30.
Literally, it was a freshman 30, and I was like, bro, like, what's going on? Like,
hold up, but bad weight. He wasn't like.
It was like both, It was like he could tell he put on some muscle, but it wasn't all muscle for sure. But he was stocky, and it was just yo,
he's about to watch this podcast and be like, what the
Put him on blast. But no, I literally saw that. And it was, I mean, me and him, most of our lives, we're only like 2 years apart. So it's been that competitive nature for sports, school, everything really has always been there. So when I saw that, I was just like immediately like not comfortable with that at all. I was like, I can't have this guy being this much bigger than me. Like we're supposed to be the same size. And so once I saw that, he ended up going back to WSU, and I like immediately, like every single night I'm going to bed, I'm on my phone researching like how to get jacked in a week, like just the dumbest stuff. And so I just ended up doing a bunch of research, started getting into the gym, and I was just like, I'd say probably for the first couple months, I was just like intensely into it. I was going every single day, like 7 days a week. Sometimes I'd go twice. I'm just like dieting as strictly as I can. And I was honestly, realistically looking at it now, making myself suffer for no reason, like working way too hard, eating like not enough at all. But that's kind of where it started, once seeing that. And then once I actually started to learn more, do my own research, and actually like see some progress coming in for the first couple of months I was doing it. That's when like my passion really started for it. When I was like, okay, like this is
getting
working.
those gains a little bit.
I started getting those gains, and I was like, this shit's working. Like I got to keep doing it. Got to keep figuring out things I can change, add to the mix to help me out. But other than that, I'd say really my brother seeing that freshman 30, man, that really got me.
That was your inspiration.
That really got me.
Those newbie gains are the best too, man.
Yeah, they are, bro. Those newbie gains are just coming at you different. Like you be getting jacked for no reason.
You just show up.
You show up.
Yeah.
Oh, you just start moving weight and shit.
Exactly.
I want to talk about a little bit about that, because dude, for me, when I look at my experience weightlifting, I made so many mistakes early on, to the point where I messed up my joints. Like, actually, I don't know if you can like hear this, but
yeah,
no. Like that's how, like every time I move my elbows, like that's how much noise. It's not supposed to make that noise.
It's not healthy. No,
it's not healthy. What are some of the learnings early on that you're like, fuck, man, I wish I didn't do that?
Things I would definitely change if I could go back and tell myself is, first of all, don't go to the gym 7 days a week. That's just stupid. Second of all, like lifting super heavy all the time, it has its benefits, but realistically, it's not 100% beneficial to be lifting like that all the time, because at that, especially if like your form's not proper, you're just like risking injury, and especially like with your joints like that, like eventually like you're gonna run into issues like that with your elbows, shoulders, bench press, like every single major lift that you're doing. Like if you're doing them wrong and you're going super heavy all the time, realistically, you're gonna run into an injury, and then it'll be serious, and then you're just gonna be backtracked and out of the gym for a while and just gonna ruin everything. So I definitely say that's the start.
So would you say like when you're first starting out, like obviously do your research, but make sure like your form is most important? Like what are the other like tips you think would somebody like first lifting should follow?
I would definitely start with form. Really, if you're going to be performing exercises, you have a workout and you have all the exercises that you're going to be doing. You shouldn't be using any weight. You should just be doing like nothing, going through the motions, seeing that you can do them. Once you can do them, then you can start adding some weight, spicing it up a bit. After that, I definitely say recovery. I feel like recovery is probably one of the most important things that people kind of sidetrack a little bit.
It's often overlooked.
What do you mean by recovery for people who don't know what that is?
Recovery, it's a lot of different things. So like water intake has a big thing to do with it. Sleep, good sleep. It's REM sleep, like actually getting the 8 hours that we're supposed to every single night. Every night that we basically don't get 8 hours, like it kind of adds up, and it'll just go into a domino effect. And once we get there, it's just going to be bad. So water, sleep, protein intake. If you're not eating enough protein, you're basically not giving your body enough nutrients to actually repair the muscle fibers that you're tearing when you're working out. And then, amino acids, eating right in general. If you're trying to build muscle, get big, and you're not eating at a surplus, you're just kind of wasting your time at that point. So dieting, recovery, all that kind of stuff. Definitely for anyone barely starting.
Yeah. So you can't hit the gym, chug a bottle of tequila, black out, and then just wake up the next day and do it again, right?
No, you can't. You can't. No, definitely not good for you. I'd say I learned from experience too, because freshman year at WSU, I was trying to balance both, and my ass was out here blacking out at stubbies, and then I'm going to the gym in the morning the next day, and it was just miserable, bro. It did not work out, bro. I gained my freshman 32, but it was kind of like my brother, where it was like it wasn't all muscle, it was a little bit of fluff, but live and learn.
Yeah, no, I feel that.
What like as you were going through and learning like these different exercises, these different techniques and like ways to improve your body, did you look towards supplements? I know early on for me, I was like looking at like the biggest dudes on the like bodybuilding.com, and you know how like they would post like their supplements that they would use with their workout splits. Man, I used to buy all that shit. Like I used to buy all those supplements, and obviously that like was not the case. Like you don't need all those supplements that they take, but like what are some of the key things that like somebody first starting out should probably consider in like their nutrition or their diet?
Some of the first things I definitely like, if supplement wise, if you're going to be taking any supplements, you take a protein powder. Like it's just going to help you get to the protein intake that you need to be getting at. Cause realistically from a diet alone, you're probably not going to be able to get to the amount of protein that you need just from food, unless you're just like scarfing down chicken like a motherfucker.
It's not just like protein powder and shit, right? Like you can't just like drink like, 5 scoops of protein and like think that you're gonna get all swole.
Exactly. You can't just be drinking protein shakes. Like it has to come from food, it has to come from supplements. Calories, like it has to be at the right level for you to be gaining weight, losing weight, maintaining weight, whatever your goal is. Other than that, amino acids, like I mentioned earlier, it's basically amino acids it's found in protein. So basically taking that as a supplement, supplementing that into your diet, it basically will improve recovery. It's going to speed it up. You're not going to feel sore for as long. You're not going to feel sore at all probably if you're stacking it up with proper nutrition, enough protein and all that. But I definitely say amino acids and protein are a must if you're actually taking it seriously and you're hitting the gym consistently so you can actually recover.
Man, I don't know if you know this, but this podcast is sponsored. If you look at our shirts,
it's a little subtle.
I
don't think it's that subtle.
It's not subtle, no.
No. We had to take a break because Eric had to take off his sweater. A little bit of sweats going on with our questions.
Hey, you can't say those drip sweaters don't keep you warm.
You
though.
can't. You cannot say.
Got you so warm, you're freaking cooking, bro.
Exactly.
All right, next question. This is probably the most important one. Are you natty or not?
What?
Are you natty or not? This is a serious question.
I'm glad he took off the sweater for that one, man. I think you would have been sweating a little harder.
Natty as in like natural.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
All right. Cool.
Yeah.
Now we got that cleared. All right, guys. So I wanna take a moment and walk through your ebook that just came out. So this came out back in April, at the end of April, right?
Yeah.
April 26th. Here is the ebook. So I went a little bit forward and took us to the end of it. You can see Eric's social media handles here. But his ebook, Train Smarter, came out April 26th. Tell me a little bit about what got you to write this ebook. And for those of you that didn't see the scrolling of pages here, this is over 150 pages, bro. I'm telling you, this is an encyclopedia.
That shit's a novel, man.
So yeah, tell me about how you got started, writing this.
So, like I kind of mentioned earlier, it was a combination, one, of my free time once I actually finished school, and the amount of people that I was getting on social media, asking me questions for fitness advice, exercise advice, dieting advice. And it was just, I came to the point where I was just like constantly answering questions on Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, all that. And so I was thinking of something that I could do in the fitness realm, basically, where I could kind of combine all of my knowledge, I guess you could say, and put it into one place for all these people to see. So it's not always they have to come and ask me questions. They can just go to this one spot and find all the answers. They have a question about something, they'll find it. A couple weeks, couple months later, the further and further they get into their own fitness journey, they have a question about something else. Like they're most likely going to be able to find it in here. So it was really the combination of just helping my people out with all this stuff. Because in the beginning, like I was there at one point in the beginning, starting out in the gym, and it was rough. It was confusing. It always felt like am I doing the right stuff? Am I doing the right stuff for my body? Am I working out right? Am I eating right? And it was always like, it felt like it was a guessing game. So I guess realistically, this was just like the do-all, really informative book for everyone to have. So they kind of take the guesswork out of it. So people that aren't sure, they can get this, they can read through it, and they can have all the information at the palm of their fingers and really take all the guesswork out of anything gym related.
Yeah, and I wanna pause there and just say, like, this quote that you have here really stood out to me. And this is one of the first few pages in your book. It's always be the smartest and hardest worker in the room. No excuses. Effort and knowledge are and always will be control variables to our success. And I think that's really important for people to recognize that.
Solid.
That's a really good quote.
Yeah.
And just quickly going through the table of contents here. I mean, you go through everything.
You have a
dude.
lot of stuff right here, man. And I want to ask you, like, like, how did you even do this? Honestly, this is a lot of information.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, look at this, man. You got nitric oxide boosters. I never even heard of that shit. Testosterone. Yeah, man. Like, tell us. Yeah.
So basically, with this, it really started. It started with like the very big concepts. I started with calorie deficit, calorie maintenance. I went to macronutrients, protein. I threw in my workout split, just like the super basic stuff, fitness wise, that I wanted in there. I did the intro, I did the title, all that stuff. And then I just started jotting down ideas. I started asking people, like what kind of fitness questions do you have? What stuff are you unsure about? What do you want to know more about? And I was constantly asking people, like, what are you struggling with, basically?
Yeah.
And getting all those ideas jotted down, getting more of my own ideas jotted down of just what I know, what I already know, and what I want people to know, I guess. And I got all those down on just a giant ass list. There's like a list the exact same size that didn't get put in there. Dude. So I really had to like narrow it down to the most important things that beginners are really I guess struggling with. So once I was able to find that, it was just throwing it all in there. Writing all the content information, doing my research, double checking, making sure everything I'm saying is correct, because I wouldn't feel comfortable spitting out information that's false, I don't want to just be talking out of my ass, with all this stuff. So I wanted to make sure all this was credible. So even if I was already pretty confident on the stuff I was talking about, I made sure to do even more research just to double check, make sure like everything's up to date, everything's how it's supposed to be in my mind. So once I was able to do all that, got all my content out, sorted it out into the order that made most sense to me, and then bam, just proofread. It took a long ass time for me to.
Yeah, you were working on that for months. You said you had a couple people helping you, right?
I had a couple people, Edgar, my dad, and Yoni. They proofread it through, helped me read through it. It was just it's a bunch. Like, to read through it on my own, it took way too long. It took way too long. I was like, yo, y'all gotta hop in for this.
Yeah. And I mean, like I said, man, even the content that you put into it, you could tell that you put in a lot of effort. Mm-hmm. I mean, the quality of the photos, the amount of just detail that you put into this, man, like, it's really something that you don't really see off of somebody's first book, let alone ebook that they're trying to do. So, curious, like, what are your plans moving forward? I know that you talked about putting out more ebooks. Like, what's on the horizon for you in terms of this?
Yeah, so for this, I do want to push out more ebooks, but I kind of want to switch away from what I did here, where it's just kind of more all of the information and I'm kind of throwing it at you guys. I want to push it more towards actually exercises, showing the exercise, actually performing it, and actually describing what it looks like form-wise, what it's supposed to be like, how your back is supposed to be, arms, all the angles and that type of stuff. So I really want to get all that kind of stuff because, in here I do talk about exercises and I have a couple pictures in there, but I don't really like have good examples. Like, here's this exercise, here's how you do it. People that are new into this, they're going to see bent over rows and they're just going to be like, I don't know, man. I'm just look it up, and then they could be looking up some random thing. It's not the actual exercise. So I really kind of want to make an exercise encyclopedia, if you will, of basically all the exercises that I do, and then just a bunch of variations that you can do from those exercises with actual examples of me doing it. So it takes the guesswork out of the people that are performing, because if at the same thing, like if they're doing these exercises all wrong without proper form, and that's me telling them to do it, and it's kind of on me, If I do this, I feel like I'm kind of pushing them in the right direction and helping them out a little more than I would with just, pictures and words.
Yeah, because this is more of like a master plan, right? And so you're saying for your next book, you want to kind of focus in on the actual workout piece and break those down for the people that are purchasing that book. And I just want to say, I've purchased other, fitness people's books and like their workouts and stuff, and they're selling them for like $30, $20, $25, whatever. And it's just the workout piece, right? Yeah. It's just the workout plan. Though, I mean, they have like the intro, the outro, a couple cool pictures, and it's expensive. This is way more than that. like way more than that. So much value in this book, right? And how much are you selling it for?
It started out for $10, and once it actually released on the Life Marathon page, I bumped it up to $15. But on the Amazon, you can see right there, it's $10 only right there. So yeah, it's honestly super cheap. Everyone that I was talking to about this when I was releasing it, they were like, "Dude, you can't release this for that much money, bro. Like so you have to bump it up."
Yeah. I mean, look at it. You're putting it free on Kindle. I don't know if that's the default there, but I mean, $10 for. Yeah. Dude, come on, man! Like this is a steal.
It's a steal. Anybody who knows anything about like workout guides or anything like that, this is a steal right here.
Straight robbery, man. Highway robbery.
Yeah, great investment. So much time that you put into it, man. This is a great deal. I think anybody who's watching this who's into fitness should definitely buy this book.
Yeah, and for those of you just quickly wanted to plug this in, if you go to the Life Marathon website, life-marathon-company-site. No, I said that wrong. life-marathon.company.site. We'll work on that URL.
We'll work on it. We'll just go to my IG.
Go to his IG, which I actually have up right now. You can find him mini_Mart35. This is Eric's Instagram. You can also find that on Twitter as well. And on Facebook, he has a link to his website where he's selling the ebook, and you can also find it on Amazon. Train Smarter by Eric Martinez.
Hey, I want to go into the fitness myths and tips, and maybe you could even scroll up to that section. I think it's page like 138 where it starts.
Yep, there we go.
Yep. So that, there's a lot of, myths that go around, especially with social media. Yeah. You always got those people that want to push like a certain program. They just want to make money, right?
Yeah.
Lose fat in 10 days or whatever.
Yeah, that bullshit.
Come do this diet. And there's always the new diets, right? The new things, and they're always going out of style, coming in a style, whatever. Let's talk about some of those things. So some of the things that kind of stood out to me is, and I'll just say the topic, the myth or whatever, and then you can talk about it. So cardio is the only way to lose weight. You say that's false.
False, big false. So basically, I talk about this a lot in the caloric surplus deficit maintenance sections that I have in the beginning. So basically, our bodies, if we woke up and did absolutely nothing for a day, there's a certain amount of calories that we would burn still. Like we would go through in that day doing absolutely nothing, just sitting on our ass. And so basically we would need to eat a certain amount just to maintain our body weight doing nothing. Then you add like going to work, just daily activities, running errands, any physical activity, if you're going to the gym.
Walking to the fridge,
like literally anything that you do is basically burning calories and adding that so that the maintenance level is going to increase. So then you have to basically eat enough to get there. To lose weight, you really just have to be under the maintenance level. You could be like 500 calories below it. You could be 50 calories below it. Like either way, you're still going to be in a deficit. Your body's still going to be losing weight. You don't necessarily have to do an hour of cardio every day to get to a deficit. You could, if I really wanted to, I could not go to the gym at all and I could still be in a deficit and lose weight. I mean, I probably wouldn't be gaining muscle. I'd be losing muscle. I'd be losing a lot of other good stuff that I've been working on. So I definitely not recommended. But to lose weight, it's just a calorie deficit, nothing else.
Okay, this next one I really need to know because, man, I've been trying to get my abs back and I don't know what to do. Me too. You wrote right here, more ab exercises equal more visible abs. You say this is false.
So basically, say, for example, you got a homie that is 25% body fat, and you saw up there what 25% body fat looks like. You can't see his abs. If you got this guy going to the gym, like 5 days a week, and this guy's hitting abs religiously. Like he goes there, the first thing he does, like he does ab exercises. This guy's probably never gonna have abs, visible abs, realistically, because there's too much body fat. Basically, it goes, you got your skin, under your skin is the fat, and under the fat is the muscle. That's why less body fat, you're able to see more muscle, more vascularity, more veins and all that, because there's less fat in between that. So basically, you could have the strongest abs in the world, but you would still not be able to have visible abs because there's just way too much fat in between your muscles and your skin to show it. So it doesn't matter how much you do, like you're still gonna have the same. You'll have strong ones, but you're not gonna have no 8-pack.
It's kind of like it's a sunny day out, but there's clouds though.
Exactly.
So you just can't see through it.
Exactly. That's a good ass reference.
I'm just kind of like, that's how I picture it, but that's cool. Okay, and this is another one that I know a lot of these diets that we talked about, kind of like, they say this a lot. carbs will make you fat.
Mm-hmm.
That is such cap. I hate I hate people that say that, because carbs are like, I think they're one of the most important things, because our body uses that as our primary source of energy. So if we're if we're restricting ourselves of carbs, we're just gonna have terrible energy. We're gonna probably feel like shit all day. I remember when I first started working out, one of the dumb things I did when I first started hitting the gym, I hopped on a carb cycling diet, and basically I think it started like 200, 160, 120, 80, 40, and it just kind of went down. So it was Friday and I'm eating 40 carbs. It was just ridiculously hard to eat 40 carbs. Like, everything has carbs in it. Like, I don't even know how they do it. Anyways, I go to the gym, and I think I was doing legs, and I was doing squats, and I was like on my first or second set, and as I finished my set, I just completely fainted. Like, my ass fainted in the gym. Wow. It was terrible.
Like, you literally went to sleep.
Blacked out.
Wow.
I just fell, yeah.
Wow.
And so basically I got up, and I was just like, first of all, I'm just confused. I'm like, what just happened? I woke up and it was like no one noticed either. So it must have been for like a split second, really? Because nobody fucking noticed. I was like, all right, I don't know what's going on, but I'm gonna just play it off. I'm gonna put my weights away and I'm gonna go home because I'm scared right now. Like, and then I was doing some more research on it, and I basically ended up realizing that like carbs, if we kind of deplete ourselves of that, we're gonna have no energy. So that was basically the reason for that. But carbs will make you fat. They won't, because
your body said low battery.
low battery, man.
Yeah.
But nah, carbs, they won't make you fat. Like, same thing with fats or protein. Like, I could eat all day today, eat strictly carbs. I'm not going to get fat off that, as long as I'm not in a calorie surplus. As soon as I go to a calorie surplus, that's when you're going to start gaining weight, whether it be muscle or fat. As soon as you get there, that's when you gain weight. As long as you're at maintenance or under that, it doesn't matter like how many of what you eat, you're not going to get fat.
Yeah.
And just to be clear, though, it's not like you can be in a calorie deficit, but if you're only eating carbs, you're not going to get to your fitness goals. You have to consider the other macronutrients as well. So
exactly.
Give us a rundown in terms of what macronutrients are and what the core ones that we should look at.
So macros, the big three right here, I like to call them. It's going to be proteins, fat, and carbs. So carbs, like I just mentioned earlier, is going to be our primary source of energy. Fat is the next source of energy, then protein. Obviously, what our bodies use to kind of repair muscle, all that good stuff. And basically our body needs a certain amount of protein out of the calories for the day that we eat. So once you usually I set it at my body weight to like 1.15% of my body weight.
Body weight in grams.
In grams, yeah.
Got it.
So I'll set it around there, and then once I set that, I'll have my calorie intake. So whatever that be, say it's like 2,500. I'll basically go from protein, because protein and carbs are 4 grams of calories per gram, and fats are 9. So basically doing the math, I add those up. I'll just get my protein, set it. Carbs, same thing, I'll set it. And then whatever's left over, I just throw it on to fats, whatever's there. Sometimes it goes higher, sometimes it goes less. I like peanut butter, so I just be splurging sometimes on it. But basically, once you're able to set those things and you stay for whatever your goal is, if you're trying to lose weight, you need to be in a deficit. You need to make sure you're eating enough protein, and you need to make sure that your carbs and fats aren't pushing you over your calorie deficit. If you're able to do that consistently over a period of time, like, there is a 100% chance you will lose weight. Like, if you don't, you're doing something wrong and you're eating too much. That's, at the end of the day, that's what it is. If you're doing that realistically, consistently, there's no way you won't lose weight.
Got it. You just gotta consume less than you burn, right? Or is that backwards?
I'm trying. I think
you consume less than you burn is the deficit portion of it. Yeah.
Consume less than you burn. So if you're in that deficit, like, you're solid. Like, you'll be able to just lose weight. That's why people. Me, I like to eat a lot, man. I'm a pig sometimes, I feel like. So I'll do a bunch of extra cardio and a bunch of extra work just because I know that extra work is like. It's keeping me in that deficit to where I'm still able to lose weight, but I can still eat, how I want to. So that's kind of how I go about the two. But definitely, you got to be there if you want to lose weight. If you're not there, you're just wasting time. You're just wasting time.
And I like that, because cutting through all the BS and to just get to the point for the people that want to lose weight, it's gonna take work. You have to literally, consume less than you burn, which takes discipline.
It does. Honestly, being in a deficit sucks. Like, it's pretty miserable, because literally you're not giving your body enough calories to maintain your weight. So your body's literally eating away at fat and muscle on your body to basically provide energy. And so it's basically like kind of sucking the life out of you for a bit. And you're going to feel a little crummy. You're going to feel low on energy while you're doing it, which is honestly one of the main reasons it's hard for most people to stick to it, because you just feel like shit the entire way you're doing it. And sometimes when progress is slow, you're like, man, I'm not noticing anything. I feel like shit. Like, why am I even doing this? So that's one of the main things that people, they just stop the diet because it's just absolutely miserable. But you got to stick to it. And here I have a whole section of basically tips that talk about, things I do when I'm in a deficit to kind of help me feel fuller longer, keep me in my calories, give me more energy. So just a bunch of stuff that I do to help me out, because realistically it is hard. It's a grind to lose weight, and it's tough. That's why not everyone's able to do it. So really, that's why I think something like this is so useful to people, because it throws it all out there, and it's being real. Like, it sucks. It sucks.
I want to talk about another one of the myths here, because I feel like this is something I hear a lot from people that like want to start lifting, but they're afraid for this one reason. They think that lifting heavy weights will make them gain weight.
That's I hear that a lot too. That's why it's in there.
Especially with women. Not to call them out specifically, but like
I've
hear
heard
that a
men
lot.
say
It's
that
actually
too,
oh really?
Yeah.
It's funny because a girl was the one when I was asking for stuff to put in here. She literally just that. She's like, the lifting heavy weights will make you bulky, and I was just like, that's a good thing to put in there, because a lot of people do think that like lifting heavy weights is just gonna make you like absolutely jacked. Because sometimes you'll see those girls like on IG and they're yoked, like they look more, they got more than me on them, man. It's like it's pretty impressive. And I feel like a lot of the times girls and just guys in general that are afraid of that, they're going to think if they're just benching, deadlifting, squatting, whatever exercise they're doing, just going super heavy, low rep, that they're going to get like insanely jacked in a week. Yeah, they're going to walk out of the gym in one day like that.
I wish it was
if it was that easy, man.
Out, like, with their traps hanging out. Like
just walking around like this. But no, it's really not. So basically, it all comes down to volume, like lifting heavy, lifting light for whichever rep range, whether it's high or low. It all comes down to the amount of volume that you do. If I do 3 reps at 200 pounds, that's 600 overall volume.
Yeah.
But if I scale it down to 100 pounds and I do like 8 reps, that's 800 total volume. So realistically, I did more volume with less weight. So it's really just the overall volume that you're doing when you're actually working out that you're trying to accomplish. Yeah. But nah, man, lifting heavy will absolutely not get you. It will not get you there.
Good to know.
And just I want to stay on this topic a little bit, because I want to give people a little bit of perspective of how long it takes to gain or lose weight. So like on average, what do you think is like a healthy, like if you're in a caloric deficit, you're cutting, like what is the most that you should expect like a healthy weight loss to be? Like, is it 1.5, 2 pounds per week? And then on the inverse of that, like when you're trying to gain muscle, what does that look like?
Yeah. So basically, it all comes down to the person on this. Personally, when I'm doing it, when I'm in a deficit and I'm losing weight, the most important thing that I look at when I'm in a deficit is one, like I said, your body's going to be eating away at your fat and your muscle. I don't want to lose my muscle because, I've been grinding this entire time to put muscle on. So what's the point of rushing a deficit and losing everything that I gained in the past year doing that? So when I'm doing it, I'm sticking to like 0.5 to 1 pounds every like week or 2 weeks. I try to do it super slow, just so that I'm retaining as much muscle as possible, and it's a gradual deficit. So it's not like a super tough one where I'm dropping like 500 calories and I'm just starving every day. It's one where it's gradual. It's a decent amount of food where I'm losing weight still, but it's manageable still. I'm not completely starving myself every single day. Yeah. And then same thing for a surplus. If you go trying to just gain a bunch of weight and you start eating like an absolute pig, that's honestly what I did on my last one, which I regret it a little bit because I got like the biggest I've ever been, which was kind of nice, but at the same time, cutting that all out was a grind. Yeah. But for that one, it's the same thing. The bigger the surplus, the faster you're going to gain weight, and the more of that weight will be fat than muscle compared to if you dropped it down a bit. If you dropped it down a bit and you basically lowered that surplus, you'd be gaining weight a lot slower. You'd be gaining a majority of that would be muscle instead of fat. So that's going to be a funny blooper when we do this.
Oh man,
I think that's good perspective, because a lot of people think like, hey man, I want to eat. They see like these little headlines that say lose 15, 20 pounds in like 2 weeks.
Yep.
That's not healthy, man. And not only is it
not.
not healthy, it's not sustainable. It's not realistic. Like, you're not going to look like a supermodel in 2 weeks.
Exactly. You're
You know?
not.
Exactly. Yeah. You're just gonna get let down.
You're gonna
Yeah.
get let down. It's like, damn, like nothing's gonna work for me, and then you just kind of give up in general. So
Yep.
that's the one thing I don't like about all the celebrity stuff they put out there. All the get jacked in like 2 weeks, or hop on the same diet as this homie or this guy.
Or drink this detox tea.
Exactly. Like, you're not gonna get jacked off no detox tea, man. Come on. Come on.
No, people can find you and people can DM you, right? Like, they can ask you questions. Like, you're pretty open about that. You even mentioned that in this ebook.
Yeah, definitely. If you have questions, like, if I'm a completely open book, as you can see, there's just one right here, actual open book.
Yeah. And again, you can find Eric at mini_mart35 on Twitter, Instagram. You got a Snapchat too.
Yo,
Facebook.
what's the story on that handle, Mini Mart?
Bro, so I made that, I think I was like in 5th or 6th grade. And
Oh,
it was
really?
like, it's just like super throwback. So basically, like, I have an older brother, so everyone used to call me Mini Martinez. And when I first got a phone and I was making my Snapchat, my Instagram and shit when I was in middle school, I was like, damn, what would be a good like IG handle? And I'm thinking about it, I'm like, oh, Mini Mart. And then 35, my favorite basketball player used to be Kevin Durant. So
used to be.
Hence the used to be hard used to be. Like,
Heavy on the used to.
heavy on the used to. But ever since then, just it's stuck. And then I remember when I moved to Brewster for the first time, all these motherfuckers, like, it's like my name changed to Mini Mart. Like, no one called me Eric when I got there. It was like, hey, Mini Mart. Hey, Mini Mart. I was like, damn.
Gotcha. Okay. So it's a nickname.
Nickname, yeah. Nickname I just, as a joke, gave to myself, but it stuck a lot longer than I thought.
I feel it.
I'm glad you asked that because I thought that was a clever handle and I wanted to know a little bit more about that too. Well, I mean, thank you for coming on the show, Eric.
Yeah, thanks, Eric.
Again, you can find Eric mini_mart across all social media platforms. Hit him up if you guys have questions related to fitness. If you have questions about his ebook, again, his ebook is on Amazon. You can also find it on his Instagram page. There's a link in his bio.
Yeah.
But thank you again, man, for joining us. And stay tuned for more episodes dropping every Monday. And we'll see you then. Thank you.